Okay, welcome back. And we are going to go ahead and rank all of the dual ink cards from Archazia's Island for Lorcana. Um, I have reviewed slash put into this tier list all of the other ink colors, the individual ink colors. And so if you want to go back and look at those individual videos for those colors, you can. But we're going to tackle all of the dual ink colors in this video. So this is probably going to be a little longer than the others. There are more dual ink color cards than there are individual ink color cards. And yeah, there's going to be some interesting ones. Quick explanation of the tier list really fast. S is meta defining, meta warping. A are really great cards. They're going to see their way into the meta. You're going to see these cards quite often. They might be really integral to new decks or just pumping up existing decks. B is reserved for cards that are good. You'll see some number of copies probably, or you'll see them more commonly in more fringe decks. But these are still very good cards. C are they're playable cards. That means that they might get a copy or two in existing powerful archetypes. Maybe they are good in more fringe archetypes or tier 2, tier 3 type decks, but they're still playable cards. And then D is just not going to see any competitive play. And this is, again, from a competitive standpoint. I'm not going to get everything right. This is all my opinion. This is very subjective. And at the end of the day, it is something just really fun and to predict how everything's going to shake out. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the dual ink cards. And we're going to start here with, what's our first one on the list here? Looks like it's going to be the hamster. So this is an Amber Steel card, Rhino. It's a 6 cost uninkable 4/7 quest for 2, and your other characters get +2 willpower. This is this is kind of an expensive card for this effect. It has reasonable stats. I don't think that the card is garbage, but my prediction is that the metagame is going to very heavily favor red-blue, at least in the beginning, and red-blue is not going to care so much about the willpower and much more about the strength of characters. Blue-steel will have more of a struggle with this, and so I think that this card could see maybe a little bit of play in your Steel Song, in your Diggy Diggy Holes, but it's 6 cost, it's uninkable. Steel Song already has a lot of uninkable cards, so I don't know. I don't know if this will see play. It's got a possibility. It doesn't do nothing. We'll put it in C. Moving on. We have Perdita. This is an Amber Sapphire card. It's 4 cost inkable 1/4 quest for 2. Whenever this character quests, I apologize. You do pay 2 less for the next puppy character you play this turn. And your puppy characters gain ward. So you quest her, you pay you play some puppies for a discount, maybe for free. You get a puppy character to play for free, and then she's protecting your puppy characters. Her stat line is not great. But if there is going to be a puppy deck, then she's going to be important to it. I think that she's okay. Like, right here with Rhino. Bolt. As an Amber Steel card. 5 cost inkable, 3/5, quest for 2, shifts for 3. And whenever you ready this character, gain 1 lore for each other on-damage character you have in play. And you may also exert this character to banish chosen illusion character. I think the very last part, that last piece of text, is probably not super relevant. I don't really care for this card. I don't think that there exists a very good Bolt character to shift this over. So I don't think you're going to be doing this on 3. And would you rather be shifting this on 3 in something like Steel Song, for instance, or Robin Hood? I still think Robin Hood is what you want to be doing in that particular instance. His ready up ability is fine, I suppose. Depending on your matchup, it could be gaining you a lot of lore, and in other matchups, you could be gaining nothing. I don't really like this card, but I also don't think that it does absolutely nothing either. I don't foresee that the card is going to see all that much play, but I would like to be incorrect. Moving on, we have Peg. This is a 3-cost Inkable Amber Emerald card. It's 2/4, quest for 1. And then you can exert it, and if you have 3 or more other characters in play, you draw a card. I don't like this card at all. This has, you have to have 3 or more other characters in play for this to do anything at all. And for that reason, I don't think that this card is good. I think this is our first D tier for the Duel Links. Moving on, we have Tramp. Tramp is a 7-cost Amber Emerald. It's inkable, 2/6, quest for 2. And for each character you have in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. And when you play this character, you may draw a card for each other character you have in play, then choose and discard that many cards. The first thing that sticks out to me is that this cares a lot about you having a big board. I think that Blue-Red's going to be very, very popular and very strong, at least in the beginning. And I think it's going to suppress this kind of deck that wants to have a bunch of characters out severely. But that's just my opinion. That's my prediction. He doesn't count himself, he doesn't count himself when he enters play. And so if he was the only card to hit the board, that means you're paying 7 for a 2/6, quest for 2, and does nothing. So this is another card that really wants you to have characters in play. Maybe this card has a shot at seeing play when we're not getting our boards wiped continuously by Sisus and Be Prepareds, and maybe that will not be the reality of the format, but I have a feeling that, at least for now, it will be. I think Blue Steel is going to be incredibly, incredibly strong as well. If that's the case, then this card has a higher chance of seeing some play. I do think at the moment I like this about as much as I like Peg. I think Blue-Red not being super prominent, it could be here. You could do some cute things with discarding some cards and things like that. I don't like this card personally that much. You have to have a wide board. You don't have a way to accelerate. And yeah. And even against Blue Steel, they're going to be playing Calhouns, they're going to be playing Smees, they're going to be playing Bell. And they're going to be taking a lot of your board away from you, in my estimation. So I'm going to rate it there as a D. The Troubadour. That's a 2-cost inkable Amber Steel 1/3 quest for 1. He has resist 1 and Singer 4. I don't think this replaces Ursula in Steel Song. Ursula holds damage better for Rapunzel. And resist 1 is really nice, but it also means he can never hold 3 damage total, which means you're not going to be able to maximize your Rapunzel. And that's one of the nicest things that you have as a benefit for Ursula. I don't see this thing taking the slot of Ursula. It's not a terrible card. I'm not going to say it's like totally unplayable, but I just don't see it taking the slot of Ursula. We'll put it here, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not taking any slots away, right? Let's move on to Windy Darling. The 7-cost inkable Amber Ruby 5/7 quest for 2 has evasive, and whenever one of your other characters is banished, you remove all damage from chosen character. Gosh, this is a really weird card. This ink color combination You'll see this with Mufasa. You'll see it with the racers. This card is not a racer. Um, this would be a good card to reveal off Mufasa. It's a 5/7. It has evasive, but I don't know. It's 7 cost. Trades cleanly with Maui Shark. But yeah, I don't like this card. You don't have a great way to kind of just get this card in early. I suppose you could play Lanterns and things like that. You can play Gastons and you can play Docks. You can kind of get this card down early, and it quest for 2. It's not nothing. I feel like you have stronger things you could be doing in those in those colors though. I think a lot of these dual ink cards are going to end up in this C tier because there's a lot of new things that are being tried, and so it's hard to evaluate these cards. Yeah. Okay. Mirabelle Madrigal. This is a 3-cost inkable amber amethyst. 1/3 quest for 1, has evasive and Singer 5. I'm not sold on this color pairing and this singing matters and this color pairing type thing. I think it's cool. I'm not sold on it personally. Maybe it's good. As a quest for 1, and yeah, it's 1/3. It's got evasive, and that's all fine and dandy. I think this is a D tier card personally. All right, moving on to the next one. We have Pascal. This is a 4-cost uninkable amber amethyst 3/3 that quests for 3 and it has evasive. I think this card's fine. It's uninkable, which is a bummer, but I think this card is fine. I think, yeah, there's going to be a ton of these really more mediocre cards that are going to end up in the C tier here, and it's going to be a very full tier, I predict. King Candy. This is a 4-cost uninkable amber ruby 2/2 that quests for 2. And whenever one of your other racer characters is banished, each opponent chooses and banishes one of their characters. I think that this card is the racer support that it needs, that the deck needs in order to actually function. There's plenty of cards that support racers in this set, and this is the strongest one. It's in the right colors. I think that this is. I don't know that the racer deck is strong enough to be tier 1, or maybe even, I don't know whether he's even tier 2. But if this deck's going to be real, King Candy's going to be the glue that's holding it together and really having an impact. All right, moving on. We have Penny, not the Orphan. This is a 2-cost. This is an inkable amber steel 1/2 that quests for 2. When you play this character, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character, and they gain resist 1 until the start of your next turn. I think this card's really good. This card can hit itself and give itself resist 1, and the worst case, maybe in the mirror where you're trying to survive with the Storm Rage on. But if you're giving your Calhoun's an additional resist, you're giving your Smees a resist 1, you're taking damage off of your Smees, you're taking damage off your Ariels, you're taking damage off your Ursulas. I think this is a good card. This takes damage off of Lawrence. I think this card's good. 2 for 1/2, quest for 2. This is really aggressive. This is really, really good, I think, in Diggy Diggy Hole type decks. Is really aggressive amber steel decks. I think that this is a great card. Where is this card at though? In those types of decks, I think that this is, either top here. Yeah, this is very, very strong. I'm gonna put it there. So now we come to Fix It Felix Jr. It's a 5-cost inkable amber ruby 4/4 that quests for 2. Whenever you return a racer character card from your discard to your hand, you may ready chosen racer character. They can't quest for the rest of the turn. I know that there's some synergies. with this Calhoun down here. I am not totally convinced on this card. I don't know. I just don't have a good, strong opinion of this card. Maybe it's good. I mean, 4/4 for 5, quest for 2. The stats are totally fine. There's nothing wrong with the stats. It does something. Let's see. This is going to be kind of related with Calhoun. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this card, but again, I don't think it's dog water. Put it here. Put it in C tier. Ah, Thunderbolt. This is a really cool looking card. I really like the art on this card. This is a 5-cost inkable Amber Sapphire 3/7 quest for 2, and it has Puppy Shift for 3. So you can shift this over any one of your puppy characters for 3 ink, and it has Bodyguard. It's got a good stat line. Quest for 2. It shifts over your, let's be honest here, low value puppies that are like maybe one of your 99 type puppies. It rewards you for playing it. You quest for 2, protects your other puppies with Bodyguard. It cannot benefit from Perdita because it is a hero. It is not a puppy. I mean, in the puppy deck, it's gonna see play. I think that there's no way around it. So let's go ahead and put this here. It's like top of C, bottom of B. I'm gonna leave this right here for now, just for now. All right, Calhoun. This is a 6-cost inkable Amber Ruby 5/5, shifts for 4, quest for 2, and whenever this character challenges another character, you may return a character card from your discard to your hand. I mean, it's fine. It lets you reuse your turbos. I think that's what that character's name is. And yeah, it's a 5/5. You're gonna be able to hit this with Rapunzel. You're gonna be able to hit this with Julieta. Yeah, I don't know. It's a 6-cost. It shifts over your other Calhouns. I think it's okay. And maybe it's pivotal for Amber Ruby. Racers. That line's good. I gotta find this card. Yeah, I'm struggling to find this card here. Put it here. I think it's better than Pixie Felix. Oh, here we go. We have Lady. It's a 5-cost uninkable Amber Emerald 4/4 quest for 2, shifts for 3. And it has, when you play this character, you may return up to 2 character cards with cost 2 or less from your discard to your hand. This card is great. This is going to grab back 2 Daisies, 2 Merfolk, combination of the 2, all those other things. This is going to really be super good. Lilo Escape Artist goes in this deck and just gives you so much reach. Being able to play stuff out of the grave, out of the discard, bring it back from the discard. I think this is an A tier card. This is good. And if this color pairing has a chance at working and being super, super good, it's Lady's just slotting right into that. Okay, now we're going to move over to another uninkable super rare. This is Pongo. He's a 6-cost uninkable Amber Sapphire 5/5 that quests for 2. At the start of your turn, look at the cards in your inkwell, and you may play a puppy character from there for free. I really like this card. I think this card is super, super important for the puppy decks. You're going to probably play a good number of the 99 puppies, the ones that you can play a ton of them. And they don't really do anything, but they are inkable. So you're going to ink some. And this is just going to let you, once you reach your peak, let's say 6 ink, you really don't need to be above that number to start ripping those cards out of your inkwell and putting them on the board. I think that's really, really fun. I think it's going to be pretty important for the deck in order to give it some extra reach. If the deck is real, that's an if. We'll put it here in C, right alongside Perdita. I'm not convinced that the puppy deck is going to be competitive, but if it ever had a shot, it was because of those cards. And Thunderbolt is super good. We have Perla. That's a 3-cost inkable Amber Emerald 3/2 with evasive and support and quest for 1. Sure. I don't really care for this card. It doesn't do enough for 3. I'm not playing this card. I don't think this sees any play. This is gonna go into D tier. All right. We have another Mirabelle Madrigal. This one is the Floodborn. So you shift over to the other one. This is a 6-cost inkable Amber Amethyst 2/6 with shift 4, quest for 2. And whenever this character quests, you may return a song card with cost 3 or less from your discard of your hand. Obviously, the first things that we think of are things like Friends on the Other Side. There's the new card, We Are a Family, I think it's called. And yeah, you can grab those cards. I am just not convinced that this color combo wants to be doing this song thing yet. Maybe they will support it enough, but I just don't think that it's quite there. That's my opinion. And so I don't think very highly of this strategy. It feels too mixed and mashed. I think this Mirabelle is a little I think these are probably just as bad as one another, honestly. I think the racers have more legs. I think the puppies, maybe I'm just, looking at the puppies and being a little bit too subjective, and they're just really cute. But I mean, at least they can be aggressive and you can flood the board. This feels so wishy-washy to me personally. I don't really like it. I would like to be wrong, for sure. I'd like for this color combination to be doing this really well. I just don't think that is going to. All right, moving on. We have Restoring the Heart. This is a 1-cost inkable action in Amber Sapphire. You remove up to 3 damage from chosen character or location and draw a card. I think we've seen a lot of effects like this. I don't think this sees play. This is a D tier. Easy, move on. 5-cost inkable Family Madrigal. This is an Amber Amethyst song. And you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 1 Madrigal character and up to 1 song card and put them into your hand, and you put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. So this is kind of interesting because you're putting them back on top. You're not putting them on bottom. You have the chance of getting 2 cards. And like, there's a lot of support for this idea of this singing family type of deck, right? This is cool. I mean, it's very on theme for Encanto. I like it. I mean, thematically, it's really cool. It works really, really well, flavor wise, but I don't know. It's locked in these 2 colors that are. It's just, if this color combo works in this way, maybe this card is what you want to be doing with it. I would need some convincing personally. I need some convincing on this. So let's find this card. And I feel like I'm just hating on the Encanto cards here, and I feel bad. I feel like they're in a whole package. They're probably not as bad as this, and I might be moving these up into C a little bit later. Moving on. We have some really pretty enchanteds. The Mirabelle looks good. The bolt looks crazy to me. I'm sorry. This guy's eyes are bugging. Yeah. He looks like he has a problem, and he's gonna make it your problem. And I don't know. I'm not really too happy with Bolt getting the enchanted. I guess it was like a done deal with him being on the cover art and everything, but I would have much rather had Mushu over Bolt. I don't know. Personal opinion, but we're gonna move on past that. Jafar. All right, so we have The 4-cost Inkable Amethyst Steel Jafar. He's a 2/4, quest for 2, and during an opponent's turn, not your turn, whenever one of your illusion characters is banished, you may return that card to your hand. There are very few illusions in the game right now. I think there's 3 or maybe 4 at absolute most. And so this card doesn't have a lot of support. I imagine in Reign of Jafar we're going to get more illusions, and maybe this card rises up. It's a shift target for the big Jafar, for the Striking Illusionist. Quest for 2. I don't know. He's okay. We'll put him there. He's okay. The support is so low at the moment. I think he goes here. 4-cost slot in this color is very, very competitive. Rabbits, goats, genies. I'm not sure that this Jafar is what you want to be slamming down. I mean, there's the other, the Jafar snake, the dreadnought. I don't think that this is what you want to be doing on 4. Hades. As a 6-cost on Inkable Amethyst Ruby 4/6, that quest for 2. And when you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to banish chosen character with cost 3 or less. So it's kind of this weird hybrid between Teeth and Ambitions and a restrictive, or actually I guess it's like a Teeth and Ambitions and Madame Medusa mashed together. No, Madame Medusa is 3 strength or less. So yeah, this is weird. You gotta hit something of yours. I don't know. 6-cost on Inkable. You really want to be playing this over Madame Medusa or Lady Tremaine? I think the answer is no. I think not. I think this is not going to see any play. Cool card, art, just not a very good card. Madame Medusa. It's a 4-cost Inkable Ruby Amethyst 3/4 quest for 1, and whenever this character quests, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to put up to the top 3 cards of the chosen player's deck into their discard. So it's a mill card, right? If mill becomes good, especially in this particular color pairing, then this card will probably see play. I don't think that mill is there. I don't think mill is close. You also have to blast one of your own characters, and it has to be another one. She can't hold the damage on her own. So if you want to get her a mill effect, you have to damage one of your characters that's already on the board. I don't know. I'm not so convinced on this card. Not yet. Not yet. Taka is not seeing any play whatsoever. We can just get it out of the way now. It's a 10-cost Inkable Ruby Amethyst 12/12. Humongous stats. This thing rumbles and beats absolutely everything in the game. Quest for 3. It shifts for 7. And during your turn, whenever an opposing character is exerted, banish them. You have to exert the character to banish them. This is not just, oh, on your turn, I ready up, you have a bunch of exerted characters, goodbye. This card would be better if that was it, but you have to do some work to get that effect. There's not really a good shift target for this card. There's not a good Taka. This card is not worth playing to facilitate this card. It's just not gonna happen. This card is just bad. Super cool effect, very awesome art, terrible card. Super bad card. Alright, I'm not gonna keep harping on this card. Let's move on. Oh, Giant Cobra. It's a 3-cost Inkable Amethyst Steel 4/4. Quest for 1. It has Vanish, so if it gets chosen as the target of an action or song, it just poofs. It's gone. Doesn't matter what it is. And when you play this card, you may choose and discard a card to gain 2 lore. This card is awesome. This card is great. And Purple Steel is going to get a huge shot in the arm for this card. I think this card is like, ooh, it's either top of A or it's S tier. This is going to give Purple Steel some serious legs to be able to close out the game, become closer to a burn deck. I do think that the Jafar Will version is going to be able to benefit from this as well. I don't know that the Jafar Will deck is going to be super meta. I think it will be scary. I don't know that it will be super meta, but I think that giving this card, and there was another one in purple, it was Honey Marion, I believe, just extra reach, just the ability to beat the opponent without having to interact with them on a super high level. This card's good. I'm gonna leave it here in S tier, actually. Moving on. All right, we have Kronk. It's a 5-cost uninkable Emerald Amethyst 4/4, quest for 2, has ward, and I think that will be important. And if an effect would cause you to discard one or more cards, you don't discard. If Baja Blast is really prevalent, if Green Steel is really prevalent, this card is pretty good. Notably, it does not get under the seed. You can't reduce this thing's power very easily because it has ward. You can't brawl this thing off the board. You can't Sisu it off the board. And yeah, you can't shoot it with double singing Ursula. Yeah, this is a very interesting card for Emerald Amethyst. I think Emerald Amethyst suffered greatly in this set. I think it went from being a pretty good color combination, especially to prey on red-blue, to not being relevant, to be completely honest. I think Kronk gives it some more legs. I don't know. Where do we want to put Kronk at? He's also the best character in his respective film. I mean, put him here, maybe top of C. Maybe he, in B. I think he's, it depends. Is he going to be good enough? Is Baja Blast and Green Steel going to be really prevalent? If they are, then this card could be good. It's uninkable. I don't really love that. It's got good stats. Super tough. Is this better than some of the cards? Yeah. We'll put it there. Mother Gothel. We have a 3-cost inkable Ruby Amethyst card. It's a 1/4 quest for 1, and whenever one or more of your characters, one of your characters challenges, you may move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. So more of this moving damage around, shuffling things around. We kind of started to see that back in the Inklands with the Maleficent. You could do this multiple times in a turn. It's whenever one of your character challenges, including her. It's in a tough spot. It's in a tough slot as well. It's a very competitive. The 3 and 4 cost is a very difficult slot to win in on, because some of your better cards are going to be in those slots, especially in this color combo. I don't know. I think this card has legs. Yeah, I already told you guys this is going to be super heavily C-tiered. Okay, we have Sven. This was an early reveal. This is a Blurple card. It's 5-cost, inkable, 2/6 with Rush, quest for 1. When you play this character, chosen character gets -3 strength this turn. Is this worth playing over Elsa? I don't think so. I do not think so. I don't think so. And I'm gonna rate it accordingly. Elsa, we already have Elsa. I think it's just a better card. I don't think that the reduction of 3 power is really enough to warrant rating this card higher. So let's put it there. We have Diablo. This is an Emerald Amethyst 2-cost inkable 1/2. Quest for 1. It has evasive and challenger 2. It's an okay card. Funny that it Can challenge opposing Floodborn Diablos. It dies in the process, of course. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I don't know. This is really what you want to be doing on turn 2 in these colors. I think this goes here. Totally, honestly. Merlin. We have another Blurple card. This is a 1-cost inkable 0/1 quest for 1. And whenever this character requests, name a card. Then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the named card, put it into your inkwell face down and exert it. Otherwise, put it on top of your deck. I don't know. I look at this card and I genuinely, my first thought is, so what? If you get the name of the card right, you're putting your inking. And if you don't, then it just stays on the board. 0/1. Yes, it's in Blurple, so you can crab this and get some use out of it, but you can crab your Diablo and get, I don't know. I don't like this card. I think this is a weird card to put into the rare slot, personally. Maybe I'm so off on this card and it's way better than I'm giving it credit for, but I don't like this card. Moving on, we have Yzma. This is an Emerald Amethyst card. It's 7-cost inkable 3/8, shifts for 5, has evasive, quest for 2. And whenever another character is banished in a challenge, return that card to its player's hand. Then that player discards a card at random. And this does apply to you as well. This is a very weird card. 3/8 is some serious stats. Red probably doesn't care as much, but this is really, really hardy against steel. Shifting it in on 5, questing for 2, you're evasive. I don't know. Maybe this card does something. It's really, really weird. It's symmetrical, which is maybe not good. This is a card I'm struggling with. This is either D tier or, like, it's definitely not in B. Definitely nowhere. Yeah, it's let's put this in D tier and move on. I don't like the symmetry of this. If this was only your opponent's, I think this card would be, like, notedly better, but it's not. Okay, we have Elsa. It's a 7-cost uninkable Blurple card for 5/5. You can shift it for 4, which is actually a slightly better rate. Normally, you're only getting about a 2 ink discount, so this is a good discount. Quest for 2. Whenever this character quests, you may exert chosen character. If you do and have a character named Anna in play, the chosen character can't ready at the start of their next turn. So this is 1 less ink than the set 1 Elsa. This is just worse, right? This is just way worse. I mean, it comes down a turn earlier, but I think it's just, a turn or 2 earlier. But I think it's just way worse. I don't think this card sees play. Cusco. We have a 4-cost uninkable Emerald Amethyst 2/2. Quest for 2. It has evasive. And at the start of your turn, you can choose 1. Each player draws a card. Each player chooses and discards a card. This is a cool card. I like the design of this card. He's evasive. He quests for 2. And then at the start of your turn, getting to either have both players draw or have both players discard. If you have more cards in your hand than your opponent, you know, ripping cards out of their hand is really, really strong. This is also, notably, this is the start of the turn. This is before you draw. So if you also have no cards in hand and your opponent has 1 or 2 cards, they'll discard, you'll draw a card, you'll still be up a card. So I don't know. I kind of like this card. This card is not nothing. It's 4-cost uninkable, but I do think that it has real potential. Ooh. Maybe here? I feel like this card's good. We're gonna go with that. All right, we have Ana. Ana is a 4-cost inkable blurple card. It's 2/3, quest for 2, and it has support. When you play this character, chosen opposing character can't ready at the start of their next turn. So this doesn't exert a character, but it does stop one from readying up. The support is pretty nothing here. It's not really a consideration, but the fact that you are getting this on play, you're going to be able to quest for 2. Maybe you're locking down their best thing. Maui Shark, for instance, that's pretty good. You can bounce this, reuse this effect. I think this card's fine. I think this might see some play here. All right, so we got Mufasa. This is a 7-cost inkable amethyst steel with 5/7. Shifts for 5, has evasive and resist 1, and quest for 2. So you can shift this Mufasa on 5, quest for 2. This guy is huge. He's super hard to tackle and beat. I don't know this card's gonna see a ton of play or anything like that. I think it's a cool card. Maybe, possibly see some play there. We'll put it there. 5/7 stats are big. Resist 1, evasive. I mean, even if you're playing on 7, it's not like the worst card. It doesn't do anything when it hits play. You really want to be shifting this thing. Yeah, it's tough. We'll leave it where I put it. Restoring the Crown. We have a 6-cost uninkable amethyst steel action. You exert all opposing characters, and whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge this turn, you gain 2 lore. The fact that this card is uninkable is pretty brutal. It's probably only saved by the fact that you have cards like Doc, you have cards like the Cobra that can ditch it. This card is going to rot in your hand, I think, all too often. And I don't know that the opportunity cost including this into your deck is worth it, personally. If we were going to be in this really heavily attrition-based meta, this card would be an all-star. But we're probably going to be playing into mostly Sapphire, probably slow, like slightly lower character count games, and that's my feeling, is that we're going to have a lot of these games that are just going to go from 0 to 20 in relatively short time. So I don't know. Do you include this in your deck? If it's me, no, I'm not including this in my deck. I think the art's awesome. I think it looks great. It's telling a big piece of the story, and it's obviously super important for next set for Reign of Jafar. I just don't think. I feel like you could be doing other things with your 6 ink instead of hoping that this card is going to seal the deal for you. I think this goes into D. Yeah, check out this Jafar Enchanted. This is one of the best looking Enchanted in the set. I mean, they rip it straight from the... This looks like it's ripped straight from the movie. I mean, I know that this art isn't, but this art style is either nailing it here. I love that he's the newly crowned, he's master of illusions, right? Because of the whole illusion theme with him getting them back to the player's hand. You see the tower in the background and then the Cobra. I think this is so cool. This is one amazing looking card. You can't be too upset about ripping this. Is it the most playable card? Probably not, but this is one of the best looking enchanteds in the set. All right, so Mad Hatter. This is a 6-cost inkable emerald ruby re5 that quest for 2. And whenever a damaged character challenges another character, you may draw a card. Yeah, I mean, we have effects that don't require you to have a damaged character to do this, and I think they're in red. So yes, he quests for 2. Yes, his stat line's okay. It costs 6 though. I don't really like this card personally. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. I don't like this card. Queen of Hearts. 5 cost, uninkable, emerald, ruby, 2/6. Quest for 2, shifts for 3, and whenever another character is played, put a damage counter on them. This card is what Emerald has been waiting for ever. It's finally a card that unconditionally just damages absolutely everything that hits the board because it puts a damage counter on them. Calhoun still takes the damage. You know, your ward characters are still taking the damage. This is a really, really interesting card. There is probably a deck there with Robin Hood Sharpshooter, this card, maybe Return of Hercules and Prince Philip or something like that. Yeah, it's all kind of cutesy stuff, I suppose, but this turns on a lot of those cards that didn't have a purpose. Your Robin Hoods have a purpose now. Your green Robin Hoods have merit. This card is the glue that holds that whole idea together. This is so pivotal for that. This is going to go into A tier strictly because of how important this card is. It has been this missing ingredient that has made me question, why the hell does Ravensburger keep printing these green cards that say, if there's a damaged character? You know, this feels like the card that should have been available since set 2. You know, we've waited till set 7 for this to be real, and now it's here. Let's see if it does anything. This card is super, super interesting. I have to put it into A tier just because if this green damage matters stuff is going to function very, very well, it's going to be because Queen of Hearts is just turning it on. She shifts for 3. She comes in early. Unfortunately, she is a 2/6, so even though she has a lot of willpower, the red decks are going to eat this card, but it is what it is. I suppose worst case scenario, something like they get ice blocked or Sapphire Coil, trigger hits her, and then they play Sisu. Sisu still dies. The 3-cost Sisu will still die to entering and Queen of Hearts. They'll nuke each other, but I don't know. Removal is not a great way to evaluate a card. I do wish that she was a 3/5. Trade up, trade the numbers around a little bit, but this is what we're gonna have. I understand how this is. So, okay, moving on. Hiro Hamada. This is a 7-cost inkable Emerald Sapphire card. It quests for 3. It shifts for 5. And your Floodborn characters that have a card under them gain evasive and ward. This card is super interesting. This is in the right colors, I feel. I don't know if this is what Baja Blast wants to be doing. I think this goes here. Like, I mean, maybe there's a world this is like A tier, but I think it goes in the B tier personally. It quests for 3. It's a 4/6 evasive ward. You're probably only going to get 1, 2, and maybe most 3 cards that are going to be able to take advantage of this. That's probably enough. B prep still B preps you, so I don't know. But I think that it's very interesting, and I think that this archetype has more legs. Like this, Floodborn really matters again. Bucky was obviously a significantly stronger and more busted card, but it's nice to see some support given for playing these kind of shift cards. Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's fine. Yokai. This is more supports. 2-cost inkable Emerald Sapphire 1/2 quest for 1, and you pay 1 less to play characters using their shift ability. Um, this thing is gonna like fight between Celeazarite C and Tipo. I don't know. It's not a non-card. Maybe if you're playing this Hero Hamada deck, you want this. I think this is like somewhere in here. Let's move on. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. This is a 5-cost inkable 4/4 that quests for 2. And whenever this character quests, you may return chosen damage character to their player's hand. You can save your own characters. You can bounce their characters that are problematic. I don't know. You got a quest with it. 5 costs, a 4/4. So if you need to challenge in with it, it's gonna do a decent job of that. Quest, I don't know. This card is really kind of really mid. It's really underwhelming. Let's put it here. Baymax. This is a 6-cost uninkable Emerald Sapphire 5/5. Has Universal Shift for 4. So you can play this on any of your characters. Quest for 2. And when you play this character, if you use Shift to play him, you remove all damage from him. I think that part's probably not relevant. The part where you play Tipo on 2 and then you Baymax over him on 3 is a real thing. I think that this Tipo is going to be joining Baymax in the cockpit there a whole lot of the time. Conversely, you can do that with Yokai as well. Yokai, by reducing the cost, is going to be at 3, so you'll be able to do it to Yokai as well. You'll be losing Yokai's ability, but I suppose it would end up with the same, overall end result. A 5/5 coming down on turn 3, probably the vast majority of the time, is no joke. You're gonna put this over your Clarabelle, your 1-cost Clarabelles. You're gonna put on your Tipos. Yeah, this card's pretty cool. This thing is gonna rumble in super hard. It's gonna be able to beat the vast majority of other cards. Quest for 2. I think this card is super strong. I'm gonna put this card in B tier. Ooh, put it in A tier. I think this card is really good. Gizmo Duck. This is a 4-cost inkable green steel 4/3 quest for 1. It has resist 1, and this character can challenge ready damaged characters. Okay. I guess this lets you kill your opponent's Smees that have already quested and they have a damage on them. They've readied up and they don't want to, but I don't know. You can sing songs to damage them and then crash in. This card's, I don't know. It's an inventor, but you're stuck in green steel on this thing, and I just don't know. Getting the challenge readied characters, but they got to be damaged. I'm not huge on this card. I love the art. I'm not big on the card. Maybe here. Maybe here. This is like so close. It's like, I don't know that it's unplayable. We'll leave it at the bottom of C for now, but I'm liable to change my mind here. Alright, we have Fidget. This is a 4-cost inkable Emerald Ruby 2/3 that quests for 2. It has evasive, and whenever this character quests, another chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. Kind of an expensive ink cost to get this effect. Maybe you give this to Maui Hero to All, so you can make him fly and he can challenge into Maui Sharks. He can get in and Elsas and Genies and things like that. I don't know. Maybe you're just using it to protect your characters. The card's fine. far as green red cards go, it's fine. Mistress Me. This is a 3-cost green steel 3/3 quest for 1. Whenever you play an action that isn't a song, you may ready chosen pirate character. We see that there is an emphasis on this playing actions that are not songs in this set, especially when it comes to green. Yeah, I mean, you play this card. You have John Silver that cares about locations, or the 2-cost me. There are all kinds of things you could do here. You can protect your characters. You can get multiple quests if you have 2 of your Long John, or yeah, your John Silver's the Long John Silver. The John Silver that cares about locations, and you have a couple locations in play. You know, you can do something like You Came Back, ready up 1, ready the other one with Smee's ability, and then quest again or challenge. It's something. I think it's fine. I think that if the Green Steel Pirates is a thing, then this is probably going to be like somewhere in the conversation. John Silver. Speaking of John Silver, we have an 8-cost inkable John Silver in green steel, emerald steel. So he's a 6/4 quest for 2. If an opposing character was damaged this turn, you pay 2 less to play this character. So you can rate him as a 6 for a 6/4 in that situation, which is really good. He has resist 1, which is also really, really good. And whenever you play an action that isn't a song, which we're seeing that is a theme, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. This is an interesting card. It's expensive. Maybe as a great like high top end to your pirate deck. You see a couple copies of this, perhaps. I don't know. Not a big fan of this card, but I think he is playable to some degree. Next we have Pete. This is a 6-cost inkable emerald steel 5/5. It quests for 2. It shifts for 4. While this character is exerted, opposing characters can't exert to sing songs, and your pirate characters gain resist 1. He is a pirate, doesn't say other pirates, so he also gets resist 1. This card is awesome. This is very clearly shifting over Games Ref Repeat. Steel Song is probably pretty good in this set, especially depending. Well, it really depends on the path that blue red takes. Maybe you know, blue green or Baja Blast is going to be the sauce to suppress blue red, and if that's the case, then I think that Steel Song is pretty good into Baja, and that, you know, from my experience anyways, I think it's pretty good in the Baja. And this is very good into Steel Song, and also not too bad against Baja either. Pete into Pete shift is super good. You know, I think a lot of times you're going to be shifting Pete, crashing in, getting rid of a high value character, surviving because of the resist 1. And while he's exerted, your opponents are not exerting to sing their songs, their characters. They actually have to pay the ink. You combine this with something like Gontu, and all of a sudden Green Steel starts to look more and more like a prison style deck with Gontu and Pete Games Referee and Pete Space Pirate, and discarding their hand and just locking you out of the game, locking you from being able to have fun, to be able to do anything. I'm excited for this card. I think it's really strong. I think this card is great. I think this card is one of the best cards in the set. I think it's S tier. I think Green Steel is going to come back in a big way. I don't know that it'll have to be as aggressive, because it will be able to be a deck that is just more firmly locking you out of the game, stopping you from playing, you know, chaining items together, chaining actions together, all that stuff. That's what I kind of envision for green steel going forward. And I just love the idea of this card, shifting in over Pete and making some hard decisions for your opponent. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Ink Geyser. So we have a 3-cost uninkable Emerald Sapphire, so Baja Blast. Action. Each player exerts all cards in their inkwell, then each player with more than 3 cards in their inkwell returns cards at random from their inkwell to their hand until they have 3 cards in their inkwell. Right? That's a whole lot of stuff going on there. Fishbone Quill will probably come back in a big way, and I think part of it has to do with wanting more items, and part of it will have to do with if you don't have it, you're playing blue-red, you're playing blue-steel, and then Baja Blast hits you with this, you're gonna be Baja Blasting right off the board. This is a great tool to keep the players that are playing these high top end decks from hitting their top end. This card, unfortunately, is shooting some stray bullets, and I think that a card like this does, at least in the iteration of Ruby Amethyst that we know, cuts it off at the waist. I mean, it just is really doing some severely damaging stuff to that archetype. And I think the deck will have to evolve to be something very different than what it is right now. Ink Geyser is just like inadvertently so strong against them. They'll basically never hit B prep. They'll never be able to remove your whole board. It will be very, very hard for them to have enough ink to keep doing all their shenanigans. It's tough. This is a very interesting card. I don't know exactly what shell this is going into. Is it going into a Floodborn Baja Blast shell? Is it going into the more traditional Muses Bend My Will shell? Is there a Hercules shell that wants to drop the Muses? Really, really, I'm sorry, not the Muses. I'm stuck in the Hercules mindset. Mufasa, 8-cost Mufasa, or Clarabelle. It's really, really tough to know. Like, if you can ramp super hard and then you can get Clarabelle off of Return of Hercules, and then you can Ink Geyser in the same turn somehow, you're gonna draw. You could potentially draw a ton of cards, and yeah, that could be great. This is a really hard to evaluate card. It's the first card that we've ever had that messes with inkwells. I think it's good for the game. I think it makes you think about things differently. And this is one of those cards that will, if it is as good as it looks on paper, it's going to alter the way people have to play and build their decks. I think because of that, it meets the criteria to be an S tier. And I mean, if you look at this so far, look at this. I mean, we have purple, green, steel, and blue all represented up here in the S tier. And this is the most cards that I've put up into this tier for an individual. I mean, we're not talking about individual colors, we're talking about all the dual inks, and this is a lot of cards. But I mean, I think that the dual ink cards are really interesting in this set. We have the Hiro Hamada from the Gorillas. This looks a lot like, I can't remember what his name is, 2D or something like that. I don't really remember, but yeah, this looks like that. I like the Mad Hatter. It looks like it's ripped straight from Alice in Wonderland. Tramp is a fine looking card. I don't think that it deserved the Enchanted personally. And then Return of Hercules. It looks nice, but I kind of like the original art. Like that golden glow is really, really nice. The whole waving thing is a little cheesy to me. Okay. Man, how do you say this guy's name? Denahi. It's been a while since I've seen Brother Bear. It's a good movie. This is a 3-cost inkable red steel, so ruby steel 3/2. It's got reckless and resist 2. I This is an interesting card. In the red steel deck, if it's real, this is probably okay. Bell. Oh, this is the 9-cost inkable Ruby Sapphire 7/7 shift for 7, but it has the clause that for each item in your discard, you pay 1 less to play this character using our shift ability. She quests for 3, and whenever she quests, you can put up to 3 item cards from your discard on the bottom of your deck, and you gain a lore for each item put there this way. I happen to think that this card is good. I happen to feel like there is a world where this thing's coming down turn 5 or so, and it's tough, right? I guess your ideal world would be like having a Tamatoa in play ahead of time, the 6-cost Tamatoa, questing the Tamatoa, playing a Lucky Dime for free, playing the Bell for a discounted rate, and having enough ink left over to dime her, putting a bunch of items on the bottom, getting 3 lore, questing for 3, and then diming for another 3 for a total of 11 lore, I think it is. 11 lore that turn. That's pretty good. She's 7/7. If she comes down early, the worst case, she's just punching everything in the face and surviving the vast majority of those trades. Yeah, this is a really, really cool card. If you have items in your discard and you shift her and you quest, then she's good. If you're paying 9 for her, she's way worse. You really want to shift her so you can quest her right away and get the benefit. I don't know. This card's hard to evaluate. I think it's decent. Let's put her in B tier maybe. Okay. We have the Beagle Boys from DuckTales. This is a 4-cost inkable Ruby Sapphire 3/3 that quests for 2. And whenever this character quests, chosen character to yours gains Rush and resist 1 this turn. I think this card's actually not half bad. I don't think this card's half bad. This is like here or here. This is a pretty good card. We'll move on. Li Shang. 3-cost on inkable Ruby Steel 2/3 quest for 1. This character can challenge ready characters, and while this character has damage, he gets +2 strength. The fact that he can challenge ready characters is awesome. There's ways you can buff him. You can, ping him. Give him a bunch of resist. There's a character a little further down the line that does that. And yeah, I think this card is kind of good. I think it's kind of good. Let's go ahead and rank it up here. I think this card is kind of good. Next we have Beast. This is a 6-cost uninkable Ruby Sapphire 5/5 that quests for 2. You exert him, pay 2, banish 2 of your items, and deal 5 damage to chosen character. I see the synergy between this and Bell, but I don't think that this card is where you want to be at. I don't think this card is going to see play. I think it's like here. Mushu. Okay. Been waiting for Mushu for several sets. We finally got him, and they didn't give him the Enchanted, and that is just not okay. This card, we got the Mushu. I get it. We should count our lucky stars, I guess, on this, but this deserved the enchanted. This art is awesome. His shadow in the back looks so good. They could have done something so cool with this as an enchanted, and it would have been such a big chase card. Aside from that, he's a 5-cost inkable ruby steel 4/4. He quests for 1, but he has the abilities whenever one of your characters challenges, that's including himself, they gain resist 2 during that challenge. And during your turn, whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore. This is really cool. Look, this card is like a B tier card. And the reason I'm putting him in B tier, not an A tier, is because I really like Ruby Steel. But I don't think that it's going to be a super real deck. The deck still struggles with drawing cards. You have access to Dock, you have access to Whole New World, and some filtering, but you don't have access to good draw. You just don't. And if you're going to pair Steel up with something, why not Amethyst? Why not Amber? Why not Sapphire? Why not practically any other color is the problem. These are 2 of the best removal colors in the game. They are the best removal colors in the game combined. They have to have some sort of weakness, and draw is their weakness. I would love to see this succeed, but I don't know that this is going to succeed in this world, at least not for now. Maybe if they make a Ruby Steel dual ink color card that can draw you cards under some certain conditions, make it uninkable, make it cost 3 and you draw 2 and it's an action, it would still be something. It's not even that good. I mean, that's a card that we probably wouldn't play in other decks, but for Ruby Steel, it would be a consideration. This card is really good. This is going to go Calhoun, that Li Shang that we saw, Robin Hood, Shere Khan. This is with Thebes. If you get a good enough package deal in your opening hand and you can slam it down and things don't just fall over dead, in an attrition based format, this is a really awesome card. Just don't think that we're going to be in an attrition based format. We have Mulan. This is a 7-cost inkable Ruby Steel 5/6 that quests for 2. It has shift 5, has evasive, and whenever this character challenges another character, your other characters gain. This character can challenge ready characters this turn. This is just all going into that Mushu deck. We have a good shift target, one that filters. It's a 1-cost Mulan. You also have the 1-cost Mulan that comes with 1 damage on it. Yeah, it's an interesting card. This kind of lets you get around the whole, I'm not going to exert my characters so that you can't just challenge them and win the game. But I don't know. Mushu is big time glue. I think this is like here. It's like a C list card, C tier card. Next we have Maurice's Machine. This is a 3-cost inkable Ruby Sapphire item. And it says when this item is banished, you may return an item card with cost 2 or less from your discard to your hand. Where is this card at? There it is. This card's terrible. This is a D tier. Don't play this card, please. Let's move forward. We only have a couple more cards here. So, hey with the Floodborn. Finally. Took 7 sets. 5-cost inkable, 1/5 in Sapphire Steel. Has shift for 3, resist 1, quest for 2. And when you play this character, put all cards from your hand into your inkwell face down and exerted. I don't know. This is kind of like a This would be a really funny card to play into Ink Geyser. So they Ink Geyser you, and then you like follow up by shifting this, and then just like ramping to high heaven. This feels like a good answer to Ink Geyser, and it feels kind of weird everywhere else. I don't know. I like that we got a hey, that's blue steel. Yeah, we'll put it at the bottom of C. Maybe this card's actually like super bad, but we'll put it at the bottom of C. Lady Cluck. 5-cost inkable, sapphire steel, 2/7 with bodyguard and ward. Boy, you gotta punch this thing. The ward on this card is awesome. I think this is kind of a fun card. Chinpo is probably still like slightly better because of the higher strength and maybe a little bit more effective on the punchback, and you're not locked into exactly one color pairing. You can play like Rapunzel with it and draw a bunch of cards. But I think this card is fine. I think this card's fine. Lady Cluck. Jasmine is a 5-cost uninkable sapphire steel card. 3/5, quest for 2. Whenever this character quests, if you have no cards in your hand, you draw a card for each ally character you have in play. This card is very interesting. So if we go here, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to skip this card because this is the last dual ink card. That's Maid Marian. Or Maid Marian. And this is a 4-cost inkable sapphire steel 3/3 quest for 2. During an opponent's turn, whenever one of your ally characters is damaged, deal 1 damage to a chosen opposing character, and your character's named Lady Cluck, gain resist 1. This card's interesting. I don't know that it's super duper good or anything, but with Lady Cluck, it makes her like more worth playing. Put her there with Lady Cluck. But what I want to do here is actually, we're gonna grab this Jasmine. We're gonna put her up on the list. We're just putting her here for now. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna look at Li, and we're gonna look at blue and steel, and we can just see here all the Li characters that we have access to. And what we're really looking for here is the good ones. Chicha's fine. Tipo is you know, a really good one that sees tons and tons of play. Cogsworth is an Li, sees some play, especially in blue steel. Let's see here. So Mr. Smee. So I think that the other Mr. Smee will also be an Li as well. There's Pluto here, which is good. Doc is an Li. LeFou, which sees very little play anyways. Yep, Mr. Smee. Lawrence. Tinkerbell. I mean, there is a lot of cards in these colors that are LIs that are going to let you draw cards with this card. I think this card is really good, actually. I think it's pretty good. Let's see. Does that say when she quests, or is it when she enters? I kind of jumped the gun there, huh? So yeah, it's when she quests. So she doesn't do anything when she hits the board. But if you do empty your hand, then you can draw a ton of cards. I don't know. I think this card's pretty good. I like this card. Okay, so this is what the tier list looks like for the dual ink cards in Archazia's Island. You just got to expect that the majority of your cards are going to sit in the C and D tier, and only a handful of cards are going to rise up to the level of B and higher. And that's totally fine. What do you guys think? Do you think that I got this wrong? If you looked at all of my other videos, what am I totally missing, right? I'm sure that I have missed some interactions. I'm confident. You know, a lot of these cards I'm looking at, and a lot of these cards I'm rating as I'm seeing them. Some of these cards I've had a little bit of time to sit with them, like the Pete, the Ink Geyser, the Baymax. These are all cards that are clearly really strong, but other cards like the Thunderbolt haven't really taken a very close look at. This Cusco here, Kronk, the Jasmine. I haven't seen these cards before, so I'm making these evaluations, a lot of these on the fly. So tell me what you think. Tell me where I went wrong, where I've just lost the plot and just mucked it all up. And or let me know if you agree with me. What do you think are going to be the ink combinations that are going to be the most dominant in the beginning? I know I've been vocal about red blue, blue steel. I think green steel is going to come back in a big way. I think it's going to be kind of a prison deck, personally. And if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts on green steel and where that's going to go, then I would be more than happy to make a video discussing that, and picking out some options. But yeah, but until then, I hope that you guys have enjoyed listening to me ramble on about every card in this set. And yeah, so have a great day, and we'll hope to see you next time.